open the drawer next to your stove, the one with the utensils. Somewhere in there is a black plastic spatula, and it is the single most quietly documented problem in your entire kitchen, and nobody ever told you. There are 13 items in an American kitchen that a Korean kitchen replaced decades ago, and not out of tradition, out of engineering, because Korean cooking runs hot and wet and sour, and those conditions destroy the exact materials American kitchens are built from. Item 4 is the one that touches your food more than anything else you own. Item 9 is a myth I am going to kill, because half of this list circulating online is nonsense, and I would rather be right than dramatic. And the last item is not an object at all, and it explains all 12 before it. Item 1 is that black spatula. In 2024, researchers screened 203 consumer products and found brominated flame retardants in about 85% of them, including kitchen utensils. And the mechanism is grim, in a very ordinary way. Black plastic is frequently made from recycled electronic waste, the casings of old televisions and computers, and those casings were deliberately loaded with flame retardants so they would not catch fire. Now that plastic is a spoon in a hot pan. I will be straight with you, because the honest version of this story is more useful than the scary one. The study's authors published a correction to their exposure math. The real daily exposure is lower than the headline said, and no one can tell you it will make you sick. But the compounds found included Deca-BDE, which the EPA banned in 2021, and the fix is so cheap that arguing about the dose is a waste of your time. A wooden spoon costs $2. Stainless tongs cost $6. In a Korean kitchen, the tools at the stove are steel and wood, because they have to survive a boiling stew and a screaming hot pan, and plastic never earned a place there. Bin the black plastic tonight and replace it with wood and steel for under $20. Item 2 is your non-stick pan, and specifically the scratched one you kept. Non-stick coatings are built on PAS, the forever chemicals, and an intact pan, used at moderate heat, is a low-risk item, so I am not going to tell you to panic. But the coating degrades, it flakes, it releases fumes when overheated dry, and a scratched non-stick pan is a pan whose entire reason for existing has already failed. Korea cooks on stainless and heavy steel and cast iron. Because Korean pans get preheated hard for stir-frying and non-stick simply cannot take that. If you keep one non-stick, keep it for eggs, low heat only, replace it the day it scratches, and never preheat it empty. Item 3 is the plastic cutting board, and this one is arithmetic rather than chemistry. Every knife stroke shaves plastic off the surface, and the grooves you have carved into that board over 2 years went somewhere, and that somewhere is dinner. Wood and bamboo are naturally more resistant to bacteria. They last for years, and a knife scores them without shedding a plastic dust into your food. $15, one board, done. And this is not a discipline problem you have. It is a material that was sold to you as hygienic because it looks white. Item 4 is the one that touches your food more than anything else in your house, and I want to slow down here because most people never think about it. The container the food lives in. In an American fridge, dinner cools in plastic, gets microwaved in plastic, and goes back in plastic. And heat is the specific condition under which plastics leach most readily into food, which means the microwave step is the whole problem. Korean kitchens run on glass and stainless, and the glass container with the 4-clip lid, the one sitting in your cabinet right now, is a Korean design. Move your food to glass before reheating. Never microwave in plastic, and never microwave in a takeout container, because takeout containers are also frequently black recycled plastic, and were designed to survive one car ride. Item 5 is the plastic kettle and the plastic water pitcher, the ones that hold hot or standing water for hours. And the Korean answer is the stainless kettle and the glass or steel pitcher, plus a fact that costs you nothing. Korea drinks boricha, roasted barley tea, brewed by the pot and chilled, which quietly replaces bottled drinks, plastic, and expense both. And this is the point where I should say that this is one room in a much larger Korean system for running a household and a body well. The food, the cleaning, the skin, the daily rituals, underneath all of it, and I have collected the whole method into a book called The Korean Glow, with the link waiting for you in the description. And now back to the list, because item 6 lives in your sink. The plastic mesh scrubber and the kitchen sponge. A sponge is a warm, wet, food-loaded object that never dries, which makes it one of the most bacterially dense objects in any home, and it also sheds plastic across every plate you own. Korea uses steel wool and cloth that dry out completely between uses, and the principle underneath is the whole video in one line. Nothing in a kitchen should stay damp. Boil or replace your sponge weekly, or switch to a cloth you can wash hot. Item 7 is the scratched rice cooker insert, and this is very Korean. Cheap cookers come with non-stick pots, and rice is stirred and scraped daily, so those pots scratch fast. And a scratched non-stick pot cooking hot wet starch twice a day is a worse deal than a scratched frying pan. Korean cookers with stainless inner pots exist for exactly this reason. Item 8 is the plastic colander, and any plastic tool that meets boiling water. Because pouring a pot of pasta water through plastic is heat plus plastic plus food. The same triangle as item 4. Steel colander, $8, lasts 30 years. Item 9 is the myth I promised to kill, so here it is. Aluminum foil and aluminum pans are not giving you Alzheimer's. That claim has circulated for decades, and the evidence has not supported it. The same goes for microwaves themselves, which do not make food radioactive or destroy its nutrition. The real, boring, documented aluminum note is that highly acidic foods left sitting in foil or bare aluminum for long periods pick up a metallic taste. So Korea, which cooks with vinegar and gochujang and kimchi constantly, stores acidic food in glass and steel for flavor and corrosion reasons. That is the whole truth of it, and any video telling you your foil is poisoning you is padding a list. Item 10 is the one that will make you check your own cabinet, so pause and go look at your storage containers. Find the oldest one, the cloudy, warped, slightly sticky one that has been through the dishwasher 400 times and smells faintly of a soup from 2019. Heat and detergent and time break plastic down, and a container that has gone cloudy is a container that is actively shedding. Nobody told you plastic had an expiry date, because plastic is sold as the permanent option. Throw out anything cloudy, warped, stained, or scratched today, and stop buying replacements you will have to throw out again. Item 11 is the emotional one, and it is the lunchbox. Somewhere, there is a plastic container that goes to school or work every day, filled with hot food in the morning, sitting warm in a bag for 4 hours, and eaten out of by a person you would do absolutely anything for. That is heat and plastic and time, all stacked on the smallest body in the house. Korea's answer to this is the dosirak, the stainless steel lunch tin, standard, unremarkable, sold everywhere, $20, and it lasts until that kid has kids. This is not a reason to feel guilty, because you were never told, and a plastic lunchbox is what every store sells at the front of the aisle in August. It is a reason to fix one object this month. Item 12 is what you cook with, not what you cook in, and it is the honest limits section, so let me be plain about the whole video's ceiling. The single most studied kitchen risk factor is not any of these objects. It is smoke and fumes. Frying and searing at high heat throws fine particles into the air, and in a sealed American kitchen, with the fan off, that air is what you and everyone in the house breathes all evening. Korean kitchens grill and sear constantly, and the extractor is running before the pan is hot, windows open. Run the fan every single time you turn on high heat. That habit outperforms every swap on this list combined, and it is free. And a second honest line, because integrity beats a clean story. None of these items has been shown to make an individual person sick. The exposures are small, and the reason to swap them is that the alternatives cost $20 and last decades. Not that you are in danger tonight. If you are pregnant, if you have small children, or if you have a specific medical concern, that conversation belongs to your doctor, not to a video. Which brings us to item 13, which is not an object, it is the replacement cycle itself. American kitchens are built from materials designed to be thrown away and rebought. The pan that dies when scratched, the container that clouds, the sponge that rots, the spatula that melts a little every time it touches the pan. Korean kitchens are built from materials that get older and better. Steel, cast iron, glass, wood, stone bowls that go straight from the burner to the table. Add it up. 2 non-stick pans a year at $30. Plastic containers, sponges, utensils, colanders, and boards. And a typical household spends somewhere near $200 a year replacing things that were designed to fail, which across 20 years is $4,000 spent to keep plastic in the same rotation. One stainless pan costs $60 and outlives you. America buys kitchen tools as consumables. Korea buys them as equipment. That is the entire difference, and it produces both the safer kitchen and the cheaper one. Which is not a coincidence, because a material that lasts is a material that is not breaking down into your dinner. And none of your kitchen was carelessness, because every item in it made sense the day you bought it. Non-stick meant easy. Plastic meant unbreakable. White meant clean. And nobody ever went back and checked what happens to those materials after 400 hot washes. 2 questions will now audit anything in your kitchen without me. Does this thing touch heat? And is it made of something that gets worse over time or better? Do not replace all 13 this week. And please do not throw out a working kitchen. That is waste wearing the costume of safety. Do exactly one thing tonight. Open the utensil drawer, take out every black plastic tool, and put a wooden spoon and steel tongs in their place for under $20, because it is the best documented item on the list. It takes 10 minutes, and it is the only swap that removes something from direct contact with a hot pan every day. Then tell me in the comments how many black plastic utensils you found in that drawer and how old your oldest pan is, because I read every single one. Next week, the Korean method for the stovetop and the range hood, 3 minutes of grease removal, a cheap acid you already own, and one thing Koreans do before the pan gets hot that changes the air in the whole house. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you in the